She built an empire on logic and spreadsheets, convinced that love was just another distraction she couldn't afford. But the moment she saw him mopping floors at 2 a.m., with his daughter asleep on the lobby couch, something she'd buried for 30 years cracked wide open. Emma Chen hadn't cried in 17 years. Not when her startup nearly collapsed. Not when Forbes called her the ice queen of Silicon Valley. Not even when her mother asked for the 100th time why a successful 45-year-old woman was still alone. Tears were inefficient, she'd tell herself. Emotions were variables that disrupted perfectly calibrated equations. But standing in her company's lobby at 2 in the morning watching a man she'd never noticed before gently drape his jacket over a sleeping child, Emma felt something uncomfortably close to tears prickling behind her eyes. She'd only come down because she'd forgotten her phone charger. The building should have been empty except for security. Instead, she found Marcus Rivera pushing a mop across the marble floors with the kind of careful attention most people reserved for painting masterpieces. Beside him, curled up on the leather couch, a little girl around 7 years old slept, peacefully clutching a worn stuffed elephant. Marcus looked up, startled. Ems. "Chen! I'm so sorry. I didn't think anyone would be—" "It's fine," Emma heard herself say, though. Protocol dictated she should question why a child was in the building after hours. "Your daughter?" "Sophie, yes, ma'am." He set down the mop, instinctively positioning himself between Emma and the sleeping child, as if his thin frame could shield her from corporate disapproval. "My sitter canceled last minute and I couldn't miss the shift. I promise she's not touching anything and am still getting all my work done." "I'm not here to reprimand you," Emma interrupted, surprising herself. She moved closer, studying the little girl's peaceful face. When was the last time she'd seen someone sleep so soundly, so trusting? "She's beautiful." Marcus's defensive posture softened. "She's everything." Those two words, spoken with such simple conviction, hit Emma harder than any business loss ever had. She'd built a tech empire worth $3 billion. She had homes on 3 continents. But the way this janitor looked at his sleeping daughter contained a wealth Emma had never known how to acquire. "How old is she?" Emma asked, unable to walk away. 7 second-grade straight A's. The pride in his voice was unmistakable. "She wants to be a marine biologist. Won't stop talking about dolphins." Emma found herself smiling, actually. Smiling, something her executive team claimed she only did in quarterly earnings reports. Wanted to be a marine biologist once. "Really?" Marcus looked genuinely interested, not with the calculated networking energy she encountered at every business function, but with real curiosity. "What happened?" "Math happened, computers, practicality." Emma shrugged. "I convinced myself that building software was more important than studying dolphins." "Was it?" No one had asked her that in 30 years. No one dared question whether Emma Chen's choices had been the right ones. She was success personified, ambition actualized. Questioning her path was like questioning gravity. "I don't know," she admitted quietly. Marcus nodded as if this was the most reasonable answer in the world, then returned to his mop. Emma watched him work, noting the efficiency of his movements, the care he took around the potted plants, the way he checked on Sophie every few passes. She should leave. She had emails to answer, a merger to finalize. Instead, she sat down in the chair across from the sleeping child. "Do you need help?" she asked. Marcus actually laughed. "You want to help me clean? I built this company from nothing. I know how to work." Emma stood, removing her Armani blazer and draping it over the chair. "Where's your spare mop?" For the next hour, Emma Chen, CEO of Technova Industries, learned the art of proper floor mopping from Marcus Rivera, night janitor. He taught her the right amount of water, the importance of corners, the rhythm that prevented streaks. They talked about Sophie's school projects, Marcus's night classes in computer programming, Emma's first failed startup that she'd run from a garage while eating ramen for every meal. "Why night shift?" Emma asked, though she suspected she knew. "Sophie. I drop her at school, sleep a few hours, pick her up, help with homework, make dinner, tuck her in. Then I come here. Then I study." He said it matter-of-factly, as if sacrificing sleep and any personal life was simply what parents did. "Her mom passed when she was 2. Cancer. It's just us now." Emma's heart constricted. "I'm sorry." "Me too. But Sarah gave me the greatest gift. He glanced at his daughter. Some days I'm so tired I can't see straight. But then Sophie laughs and nothing else matters. Emma thought about her penthouse apartment, beautiful and silent. Her calendar, packed with meetings but empty of meaning. Her awards lining the walls like expensive tombstones. "You're richer than I am," she said suddenly. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Pretty sure your net worth is public knowledge. Miss Chen, and I'm nowhere close. Emma, call me Emma." She met his eyes, really looked at them for the first time. They were kind, those eyes. Tired but kind. "And I mean it. You have something I traded away a long time ago." "What's that?" "A reason." Sophie stirred, mumbling something about dolphins. Marcus immediately set down his mop and went to her, brushing hair from her forehead, tucking his jacket tighter around her small shoulders. The gesture was so tender, so unconsciously loving that Emma had to look away. This was what she'd been missing. Not romantic love, though she felt something dangerously close to it, stirring in her chest. But this, elemental human connection, this mattering to someone beyond what you could produce or earn. "Emma?" Marcus's voice pulled her back. "Are you okay?" "No," she said honestly. "I don't think I have been for a very long time." He didn't offer platitudes or solutions. He just nodded, understanding in a way that made Emma wonder if loneliness recognized itself in others. Over the following weeks, Emma found excuses to work late. She'd appear in the lobby with coffee for Marcus, or books about dolphins for Sophie. She learned that Sophie loved strawberry ice cream, that Marcus was 2 semesters away from a computer science degree, that they lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. In the Bronx, where Sophie's dolphin posters covered every wall, her executive team noticed the change. Emma smiled in meetings. She asked employees about their families. She implemented child care services in the building so parents like Marcus didn't have to choose between work and their children. "You're different," her CFO remarked suspiciously. "Better or worse?" Emma asked. "Human," he said. "Definitely more human." 3 months after that first night, Emma did something completely illogical. She showed up at Marcus's apartment with a proposition that had nothing to do with business and everything to do with the terrifying vulnerability she'd spent 30 years avoiding. Marcus answered the door in a worn t-shirt, flour on his cheek. Behind him, Sophie shrieked with laughter over something on TV. "Emma, is everything okay?" "I love you," she said. Because at 45, she'd finally learned that some truths couldn't be spreadsheet analyzed. "I love how you love your daughter. I love how you make mopping floors look honorable. I love that you asked me what happened to my dreams. I love that you saw past the CEO to the person who still wants to study dolphins." Marcus stared at her. "I'm a janitor with a 2nd grader and student loans. I'm a workaholic who forgot how to be human until I met you." Emma's voice shook. "I know this is crazy. I know I'm probably ruining everything by saying this. But I'm 45 years old, and I just realized that every decision I made for 30 years was leading me away from the only thing that actually matters: connection, love, you." Sophie appeared in the doorway. "Are you the dolphin lady?" "I am," Emma said, kneeling down to her level. "And I was wondering if maybe you and your dad would like to visit an aquarium with me this weekend. They have a special program where you can meet marine biologists." Sophie's eyes went wide. "Really? Really?" Emma looked up at Marcus. "If your dad says yes?" Marcus's eyes were suspiciously bright. "You're sure? Emma, your life, my life, they're completely different. So we'll build a new one. Together." Emma stood, reaching for his hand. "I've built a company from nothing, but I've never built a family, and I'd really like to learn how." Marcus pulled her into his arms, and Emma Chen cried for the first time in 17 years. They were good tears, healing tears, the kind that come when someone who's been single for 30 years, by choice, by fear, by the mistaken belief that success meant sacrifice, finally understands that the greatest achievement isn't what you build alone, but who you choose to become with others. A year later, Technova's annual report featured a new mission, statement about work-life balance, and human dignity. The CEO's office had dolphin posters on the walls, and in the family photo on Emma's desk, a former janitor, a marine biology-obsessed 8-year-old, and a once lonely CEO smiled like they'd discovered the algorithm for happiness. Turns out it was simpler than any code Emma had ever written. Love courageously. Show up fully. Choose people over profit. Every single time.